All right, I'm ready.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Emmett Brown. I'm standing on the parking lot at Twin Pines Mall. It's Saturday morning, October 26th, 1985, 1:18 a.m. And this is temporal experiment number 1. Come on, Einie. Hey, boy, get in there. That a boy. In you go. Get down. Get your seatbelt on. That's it.
Whoa. Okay.
Please note that Einstein's clock is in precise synchronization with my control watch. Got it?
Right, check, Doc.
Good. Have a good trip, Einstein. Watch your head.
You got that thing hooked up to the car?
Watch this.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Not me. The car. The car. If my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. Watch this, watch this. What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour! The temporal displacement occurred at exactly 1:20 a.m. and 0 seconds!
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Doc. You disintegrated Einstein.
Calm down, Marty. I didn't disintegrate anything. The molecular structure of both Einstein and the car are completely intact.
Where the hell are they?
The appropriate question is, when the hell are they? You see, Einstein has just become the world's first time traveler. I sent him into the future. 1 minute into the future, to be exact. And at precisely 1:21 a.m. and 0 seconds, we shall catch up with him and the time machine.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style? Besides, the stainless steel construction made the flux dispersal. Look out!
Okay, so this is an idea that I had, and we're going to see how it works out. Basically, the idea is just off-the-cuff game reviews right after I finish the game, and we'll see how it works out. How we feel about it, like how much I can remember and how much I can talk about just from my initial thoughts. So this is called Off the Cuff Kevin, and the game is I just finished. I just finished this game, and it's Back to the Future, the Telltale game, and I'm going to talk about it. And this came out in 2010, and it's got some real amazing things going for it. It's got some things not so much going for it, but we're going to talk about it. First thing I want to talk about, obviously, the thing that was like a big deal with this game was that they managed to find a guy who sounds very passively like Michael J. Fox. Obviously, Michael J. Fox is a little too big. And it could be that he had some issues going on that he couldn't do a video game. But the guy that they got to do it is annoyingly like and unlike Michael J. Fox.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Doc. You disintegrated Einstein.
Basically, he's got this he's got this part of Michael J. Fox where he's kind of a little whiny, but then at the same time he doesn't quite have the gravitas. And I say that, knowing that gravitas might not be the right word for Michael J. Fox, but honestly, I'll be perfectly honest. The Back to the Future movies are absolutely one of my favorite series of movies.
Ah, Jesus Christ, Doc, you disintegrated Einstein.
Calm down, Marty. I didn't disintegrate anything.
I can't exactly tell you why. It's one of those movies that's just like, you just finish it and you feel so good and you were so excited the whole time, and you just love everybody so much. You know, everybody from Michael J. Fox playing, oh God, when I was a kid, I thought Michael J. Fox playing Johnny B. Good was just the coolest thing to ever exist. And I mean, I can't tell you exactly what it was about it, but I just thought it was like the coolest thing. And so I would I remember, waiting for the movie to come on HBO and just literally clunking down an old tape recorder and recording it so I could listen to it over and over again, and just like when he just like hits that first and then everybody in the band is kind of like, what the fuck? And then they all start getting into it. And like the one guy playing drums, and he's like, this is fucking amazing. And it's like everything is just like, it's just the coolest, man. And I just absolutely loved it. So that was big for me. And when they came out with Telltale obviously has very interesting history. Some of the stuff that they've done has been amazing, and some of it hasn't been so amazing. But the thing is like they always put out a really quality product, and it's really too bad that they don't exist anymore, because I think they're great, and I really love. I mean, I cut my teeth on the Walking Dead game, and I swear to God, I have never experienced a game that was so intense and so. I mean, it just hurt from start to finish, and like very few video games have ever done that. I'm sure I could think of some, but anyway, this is not about Telltale. This is not about Back to the Future, the movie. This is about Telltale's Back to the Future game. And I got to say, right off the bat, it's excellent. It does a really good job of capturing. When you first start the game up, it does that little glissando thing. I can't even do it. It's so unique. But like it does that little glissando thing, and you're just like, oh, this is Back to the Future. And as soon as you start the game up, you're basically sitting in a recreation of the first movie. And it all goes awry because it turns out it's a dream. But that's, this is like a whole thing. And suddenly you're in 1986. Doc Brown has been missing. It's basically, I guess maybe it's after everything happened in the films, because it's 1986 now. Doc Brown is missing again, and you are basically trying to like figure out how to get him back. And it works really, really well the way they set it up. I mean, it's so much fun to play, because everybody shows up. Dad shows up. Mom doesn't show up. I'm not sure why that is. But Biff, of course, shows up, and Biff is Biff. Except he's had Biff at the end of the first movie where he's all like, Mr. McFly, Mr. McFly. That's my least favorite Biff. Obviously, I like the Biff that's such an asshole to everybody. I mean, and he really is. But in this, he's like an asshole, but he's so like scared of everybody that he refuses to like actually deal with any of them. So playing is a really great experience, mainly because you really do feel like you're playing Marty McFly. And basically, there's a whole plot the plot goes to somehow I forget how. This is going to be the problem with doing these off the cuff things, but somehow Doc Brown ends up in the 1930s, and it's during the Depression, and it's like this whole like bootlegging kind of mafia thing. Not mafia, because the mafia it's just this guy. It's just Biff, and he's just an asshole. So he's not really that good at it, to be honest with you. But he's good enough that you have to kind of deal with him, and then you have to you end up playing most of the game with young Doc Brown, who doesn't know what's going on. And there's just a lot of, this is my problem with playing with playing the Telltale games, is sometimes they're very uneven when it comes to puzzles. Like, the puzzles can be super duper easy, and then the next one is like, how could I even have possibly made that connection in 1,000 years? And so it's like, what do you do? Basically, it's like you get used to a certain level of puzzle, and then it kind of like switches out on you, and that's kind of my only issue with that. But there's enough fun stuff that goes on, and enough clever things that happen, that it's actually it's definitely worth playing, and it's also definitely worth figuring out as you go. Although I will say, and this is great for Telltale, Telltale gives you a very, very good hint system that is like not, it basically spells out everything that you're trying to do. And even if you don't have a walkthrough or anything like that, you can actually go into the system, and it'll tell you what's the next thing you have to do, which I thought was a really helpful thing, because there's nothing worse in a goddamn adventure game than playing it and like just not knowing where to go next. Or like with me, it takes me so damn long to play these games sometimes, because I got other things going on in my life. There's nothing worse than playing a game up to a certain point, diving back into the game, and then kind of finding that you don't know what to do next, because it's been so long since you've played that you just don't know. And like that just fucks with you, because it's like, you want to play the game and you want to get to the next part, but you have just no clue what that next part is. And it just, it's kind of not great. But that's not great. But what Telltale does is basically it has a little exclamation point in the corner that says, "What's your next objective?" And if that doesn't do it for you, then there's also a little question mark that says, what is the next thing that you have to do, and like gives you hints on how to do it, to the point where you could probably get through this game really fast just by using the hints. If you don't want to use the hints, so my biggest, now that I've kind of like said how much I like the game, let me talk a little bit about what my problems with the game are. For me personally, I found the 1930s background, historically, to be really dull. Like, it just doesn't interest me all that much. Like, just all the characters are that sort of like caricature of like, you've got the woman who's like very much into anti-alcohol, and then you've got the guy who's wearing like the zoot suit, and it's just like it's so hard to make something interesting out of that. I just don't love that. And some people might really love that period of time. I mean, in a lot of ways, some of it is kind of interesting, Babyface Nelson and John Dillinger and all that stuff. But to me, it's kind of boring. And I kept going through it being like, okay, this is, I'd much rather check out something, in the I don't know, maybe the 1800s, or like something that's not. And I know what they were trying to do. They were going back by generation. So the next So the next thing was going to be Artie McFly, who's Marty's grandfather. So that's like, okay, I get it. You want to like keep things going with the McFly family, but then it's like, I don't know. You could do other interesting things. I mean, you got to be in Hill Valley, so it's got to be sometime, before, you can't go back to. I mean, I guess you could go back to. I guess you could go back to like Stone Age. It'd be like me, McFly. But something tells me that, well, we already know that Marty's family came. One of the first people who came into the thing was the McFlys in the third movie. So that doesn't really work. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see, because this is only the first of several episodes. I think it might be as many as 5 or 6 episodes. The next episode also takes place in the 1930s, which I'm not super duper pleased about. But I haven't played that yet, and I'm sure it'll be fun to play. It's just a matter of like, dealing with all this stuff. And it looks like it's going to be one of those ones like Back to the Future Part 2, which is it's an excellent movie. And to me, like, I know a lot of people shit on it for several reasons, but like the whole story is so damn clever, and the way that they put it together just amazes me. But this seems like that's what it's going to be. Is maybe it's going to be like we've got to save a character without any other character seeing you, and that's all that. So, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Okay. So that's my one problem with it. My second problem, like I said, was how a lot of the questions, or a lot of the sorry, I was bouncing around there. I'm very excited to be doing this. A lot of the puzzles and stuff are either super easy or super hard, and it's just like you have to kind of deal with that. My third problem is it's ugly. That's really the only way that I can say it. The characters as far as they go are like, I mean, it's like, it's not like they don't look like their characters, but they just look kind of ugly and kind of not. I almost feel like I wish they were more cartoonish, because they're sort of like this middle ground between cartoonish and what the real characters look like. And when you do that, it becomes like this thing where they just kind of look gross. I'm not complaining, because it's really about the gameplay and all that. I just wish that the characters hadn't been quite so ugly, because I did find it a little distracting. But that's the way that they decided to go. I mean, it's always a mixed bag with Telltale. It's like the characters in, especially when they have something to do with. So like the characters in The Walking Dead very, very much looked like the guy who drew the comic book, and that gave them such a great place to start from, that it just looked fantastic. With this, they've got, what do they got? They've got the movies, and they've got to kind of make it look like it looks. So I'm gonna go ahead, and this was my first one, so I can't really fuck with it too much, but I'm gonna give Back to the Future Episode 1 Telltale game, I'm gonna give it a B+. And I would give it a higher grade if the characters weren't so off-putting looking, and if some of the puzzles weren't just quite so difficult. Not difficult, but just like they didn't make a lot of sense, and you just kind of like ended up. So I hope that helps you out. I hope that it's doesn't. This is almost a 10-year-old game at this point. I hope that doesn't like completely just throw you off. But I do hope that that this helped. And this is Kevin in Raleigh, and I'm doing Kevin's off the cuff, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed talking about this game now that it's done. And let's I'll see you in the funny papers.